This is Patriot Action Films,
It is.
brought to you by Lulu TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back for another Patriot Action Films podcast. I'm your host, Mateo. Got my podcast hat on, and I'm here with Nick.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're talking on Skype right now, and we're going to talk to Nick today about his character in the Owned series.
Yes.
All right, Nick, why don't you go ahead and tell us? Most people know that we're pretty much playing ourselves
Yeah, basically.
in the Owned series, but why don't you go ahead and tell us how you got involved in being a part of the Owned series and how your character plays into things.
Well, how I got involved in the OWN series was kind of my own prerogative at first. It was kind of a thing of I remember when Jigsaw Owns as a channel first started to come about, and I always had the suspicions that it was something fishy. It wasn't real, and it was somebody that I knew. Basically, with the subscribers and friends base that was around there, I knew it was in my circle of friends on YouTube. I just had to figure out who it was. Well, come to find out, I cracked it, figured out it was you, Matt, and then whenever the whole saga started to go down, we were breaking it out in channels and not being one, one coherent thing. I decided to jump in the fray and make a video about you missing. I saw Ryan's video, and we kind of collaborated and decided to do that. And that's kind of how I got my start, was just not knowing where Matt was and kind of helping create a little bit of the suspicion and suspense and drama that was going on. After that, I just kind of got out of it. Not intentionally, I just didn't have any reason to be in it at the time. Once the series actually kicked into a series of episodes that we were filming and editing and releasing as one, that's whenever you guys decided, well, let's bring Nick back in. Let's kind of, let's write him in somewhere. And I'm excited about it. I don't know exactly where Nick's going to go because I have very limited recording abilities right now. But
Well, and one of the great things about Owned not having a script is sometimes the cast members don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's because we, the writers, don't know what's going to happen all the time. We made a change. All this stuff with bringing Chance into the equation is completely out of nowhere.
I love that.
I talked with Ryan on the phone, and I said, "Remember that one time in the one scene in the car when we said something about Chance? What if we really do lead people to believe that he might have something to do with it?"
Uh-huh.
And so we went ahead and threw that in there, and it was kind of a just on a whim thing, but I was like, it makes so much sense.
Exactly.
And we did the same thing with you. We had mentioned, I forgot until I went back and looked at some raw footage, and I was like, we mentioned Nick several times.
Uh-huh.
And we're supposed to bring him back in. That was our intention, remember? And he was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that too. And so we wanted to make it where we had some interaction with you. We did it on the phone, but we also wanted to have like where we went to your place as like a safe harbor.
Yeah, exactly.
So that required the green screen stuff,
Which was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And really the viewer, after watching this next episode, which I'm alluding to the next episode here that we haven't even aired yet.
Sweet.
Where we go see you, and the viewer won't know exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly.
With that whole situation.
Yeah, and that's what I do like you said, we don't even really know what's going to happen half the time. And that's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing in that it's it's a lot of fun being able to really create the story in the editing room. And we have all these bits and pieces that we can just piece together. But it's hard to make something that's truly compelling whenever you're just kind of making it up as you go. And at the same time, I think Owned has that ability to keep you guessing for sure. But I think it's just all in fun. I'm loving it so far. It's been a blast.
Awesome. Well, most people have noticed by now that we drop a lot of Lost references. And
Yes.
if people haven't picked up on that yet, then they don't watch Lost.
Right.
Because they're blatant. And one of the things that I like about the writers of Lost and like the writers of 24 is they're willing to change what they're writing in the middle of the season.
Exactly.
They've got a set of guidelines what they want to do, but they're willing to change it. I remember reading that the characters Nikki and Paolo.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up. That's awesome.
Yeah, they were brought in. They actually went back and made the first episode flashback look like it had Nikki and Paolo in it. But if you actually go back and watch the real first one, they added them to it. They were never there.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
At least I didn't pick it out. Because we just went back and watched the first season over again, and I went back and I was like, those people were not there. They added that just to bring them back into it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Nikki and Paolo were not liked by the viewers.
Exactly. I mean,
so they had them killed.
They were awkward and nasty. Yeah,
they had them buried alive because people didn't like them. They said, fine, you want rid of these people? We'll get rid of them.
I could not stand them, and I think that was probably the best way to get rid of them, too.
Buried alive. I think Arst was the same way. I think Arst was supposed to get bigger, and then people were like, no, this guy is not going to work.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to bring anybody out from the original people who were stranded on the island.
Yeah, I mean, they killed off everyone that was in the tail section of the plane.
Exactly. So, who knows?
Anyway,
we're talking
this
about
isn't
Owned.
a Lost
We're
podcast.
talking about
This is an
Owned.
Owned podcast. But what I was saying is we like to model ourselves after that sort of way of doing things, where we're willing to change what we're doing. If something better comes up, then we're willing to change it.
There's a lot of freedom in that, for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of the scenes are very ambiguous. Like, I love what you did with the end of your scene, where you kind of looked like you were worried and stuff. It leaves the viewer to wonder exactly what's going on in your mind.
Yeah.
Were you actually being followed? Are you in on it? What's going on there?
And nobody knows. And I'm not
nobody
telling.
knows. I don't even know. I'll see how it goes.
Evil fingers.
And Ryan and I were talking one day. He had the idea that maybe we should get on a video one day and say, okay, it's kind of a choose your own adventure. Okay, we've got 3 different scenes here of how this could go, and we want you to choose.
That would be awesome.
Ultimately, we would still have the choice, but if we got a strong reaction one way or the other, we could go that way, and I think that would be kind of fun.
I think so too. I really think that would I think bring more viewers in as well. I mean, it would gain more interest because they would have the say. It's like, what's the magic of the Battle of the YouTube Non-Stars? The magic of the Non-Stars competition is that everybody has a voice and everybody can vote and discuss, and that's at least that's what I find appealing. That's what I found appealing in the first season for sure.
Awesome. Now we've got a little less than 2 minutes left, being that this is going on my channel that isn't a director account and has a 10-minute limit. So
okay.
Anything else you want to throw in there about the future of what you're doing? The new project, without giving too much away.
Yes.
Are you a little bit in on how your character? Did you view the script a little bit, see how you're kind of playing into it?
I have. And one thing that I haven't told my YouTube viewers yet is that my recording capabilities are going to expand very soon, and I'm going to have a good, real camera. And so be watching. So when this new series comes out, there's going to be real stuff. It's not going to be me on a webcam with an echoey sound. I mean, it's going to be real stuff. I'm excited. And I think the new series is going to blow everything else we've done out of the water.
Awesome.
I really do.
Awesome. And what I've been telling people is that we're going to finish the new one before we even upload an episode. It's going to be the opposite of Owned. Owned is good for its own reasons of it's good that it doesn't have a script. We can play around with it. But the new one's going to be good for the opposite reason.
Exactly.
Because it'll be a little more organized. And you've seen the opening clip, haven't you, that I filmed?
Yes, I have. And
that's sort of the direction of the videography and...
It's going to be sweet. It's not just walking around with a camera and having fun like Owned is. This is going to be like real stuff. It's going to be cool.
Real cinematography, and the soundtrack is better. I've got more sound effects I'm using for this one too.
Yes.
And that's great, man. Well, we need to wrap it up because we're coming up on 10 minutes here.
Okay, well, thanks for having me. This was fun.
Awesome. Thank you for joining me for another Patriot Action Films podcast.
Watch Owned.